What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Three Pyramids with your host, the ignorant, eclectic, mad genius, man. Yo, today we are checking out my guy Matt Wolf on some more AI news. So if you guys have been under a rock or not been paying attention, which I know a lot of people haven't been because of what's going on in the world, ChatGPT has been losing a lot of customers. Over some certain things. So let me stop talking. Make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Let's do this. How do you do that? That was tough.
All right, so we got a bunch of new models this week and a whole bunch of news to break down, more government anthropic drama. I'm not gonna waste your time. Let's get straight into it. Let's start with the OpenAI models because with Pentagon Saga, and as you probably know by now, I record these on Thursdays, publish them on Fridays, so the whole story hadn't quite unfolded yet. Well, there's been some updates. So let's jump over to the AI drama section and let me break down what's happened. AI drama. So last week, I really broke down the whole Anthropic versus the Pentagon thing. And since last week, it's escalated quite a bit more, and there's been a lot more that has played out since then. Now, if you didn't see my video last week or the one I made about it the week before that, let me kind of give you the TLDR of everything up through last week. So Anthropic signed a deal with the Pentagon for $200 million. Anthropic had access to classified information. They were the only model provider that was actually able to work with classified information. Anthropic was actually used in the Maduro raid to get the president of Venezuela. Somebody at Anthropic reached out to somebody in the Department of Defense and asked if that was actually true, that they used it. The Pentagon got pissed off that Anthropic was even asking, started calling them woke. The whole thing sort of escalates. Anthropic basically tells the Pentagon, you can continue to use our models for whatever you want. There's only two things you can't use it for: surveillance on US citizens, and you can't use it for fully autonomous weapons without humans in the loop. Those were their two red lines that they couldn't do. The Pentagon said, no, that's not up to you. We should be able to use it for all lawful purposes. You guys don't get to make that decision of what things we can and can't use it for. Anthropic basically pushed back and said, again, use it for whatever you want, but we won't allow our tools to be used for those two things. The Pentagon said, okay, well, if you don't drop it and let us use it for all lawful purposes, we're going to designate you a supply chain risk, meaning not only will the US government sort of blacklist Anthropic from being able to be used in the government, but also any of the companies that work with the Pentagon aren't going to be able to use Anthropic sort of downstream inside of their.
And before he goes, I want to say that, what's the name? Elon Musk, I think, toss his hat in the ring with Grok AI to do that. But let's hear it out.
Pentagon related projects. Where it stood last week when I made my news video was Anthropic came out, made a statement saying, we're gonna hold our ground. Those two red lines, no US surveillance, no fully autonomous weapons. We're sticking to those. You can't use them for those two things. And that's essentially where I left off in that video. Well, Friday, things escalated. Trump put out a statement basically saying that Anthropic is blacklisted, and the Secretary of War basically said, we're going to designate you as a supply chain risk. According to Anthropic, they tried in good faith to reach an agreement with the Department of War, making clear that we support all lawful uses of AI for national security, aside from the two narrow exceptions. Sam Altman himself actually took to X and told his own employees that he agreed with Anthropic's red lines and that they would do similar red lines. So on February 28th, OpenAI announces an agreement with the Department of War. In their agreement to the Department of War, OpenAI drew the same lines. In fact, they even had a third red line. No use of OpenAI technology for mass domestic surveillance. That was the same red line Anthropic had. No use of OpenAI technology to direct autonomous weapon systems. Same red line as Anthropic. Yep. And then a new third red line. No use of OpenAI technology for high-stakes automated decisions. In our agreement, we protect our red lines through a more expansive multi-layered approach. We retain full discretion over our safety stack. We deploy via a cloud. Cleared OpenAI personnel are in the loop, and we have a strong contractual protections. This is all in addition to the strong existing protections in US law. They even posted the relevant language from their contract on their website, and from everything all outside people paying attention to this could could tell. Anthropic said you can't do these two things with our technology,
Right.
and the Department of War said you're a supply chain risk, you're out, you're blacklisted. OpenAI steps in almost immediately, the same day all this is going down, and says, we'll take on the contract. We have these 3 red lines. And the Department of War said, okay, you're in. Like, this isn't making a lot of sense to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So most people started to assume, okay, OpenAI was very opportunistic. They saw the chance to get in. They're publicly telling people
That's
that
new
they have
information
the
to me.
same red lines, the same safety standards as Anthropic, but they're just better negotiators or something, right? Like, that is sort of the perception. But most people kind of believe, are they really telling the truth? Are they basically just telling us outwardly they have the same protections, but behind the scenes, they're telling the Department of War, don't worry about it. You can do it.
That's exactly what's going on, in my opinion. I don't know if that's true or not, but in my opinion, that's exactly what's going on. Because what was it? That was the Super Bowl, that little ring commercial. The fact that the ring commercial had like where like you could find your dog with the ring, da 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 da, and how everybody was just like, hold the fuck up. No, the fuck you not. We not finna do that. Not at all. And Ring seen the backlash and was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold up. Y'all that mad? Why y'all mad? Like we just trying to help y'all find y'all dogs. And the human, everybody else was like, bro, you just trying to surveil us. Like, that's all this is. You're not looking for dogs. Yeah, first you looking for dogs because you know people love animals. And then you're gonna be looking for humans. Like, we not stupid. I mean, we stupid, but we not stupid. And then Ring was like, all right, Drewski mean, you got me, and was like, all right, cool. We'll back off of it for now. Like, let it go ahead and cool off, and then we'll try to slide it back in later on.
Do whatever you want with it. That's kind of what people started to think. And well, the fallout from that was pretty quick for OpenAI. Claude capitalized on this fallout and released an easy way to switch to Claude without starting over. You can bring your preferences and context from other AI providers to Claude. Now, they don't name OpenAI specifically, but all of the memory that you ever had inside of OpenAI, you can import that over to Claude, and Claude will just pick up where you left off with OpenAI. This was a very opportunistic sort of launch on Claude's part. Not only that, but in the past week, Claude also made their memory features, which were previously only available on paid plans, available to free members as well. They put out this Xpost memory is now available on the free plan. We also made it easier to import save memories into Claude. So if you're on the ChatGPT free plan and you had memories and stuff baked into your plan, come on over to Claude for free and bring all of those memories with you, and we will keep your memories as well on the free plan now. So they were seemingly making it very easy to get rid of your OpenAI account and move over to Claude instead. And well, it worked. Earlier this week, TechCrunch put out this article, users are ditching ChatGPT for Claude, and they even instructed on how to make the switch.
So I did make a Claude account, but I didn't know that you could actually put, like, basically take your memory from ChatGPT and put it on Claude. That's actually interesting to me because I am working on a book. Well, I'm working on like 2 different books or whatever. And that would actually be dope. Just be able to switch stuff over. But also in my viewpoint, I don't know about everybody else. I can't speak for everybody else, but for me, I am going to keep my ChatGPT and also basically just all the workflow that I have on there. And then also I'm gonna use Claude also, and I'm gonna probably have a play plan for Claude and Gemini. So I'm basically have all 3 of these what's the names, and then I'm gonna be doing different things on each of them. But it's, in my viewpoint right now, it is cheap as shit to be able to use some of my bad. I didn't mean to cuss. It is cheap to be able to use a bunch of these different AI chatbots. $20 a month. Well, for me it's cheap. Like, I mean, I'm only paying $20 a month for ChatGPT. I'll pay $20 a month for Gemini. You know what I mean? Because like I'm in it, but I'm not like crazy deep in it. And then maybe like whatever, how much, let's just say $20 for Claude Code. That's $60 a month. I spend $60 a month frivolously on just stupid things anyway. Well, not really me, but I'm just saying. So it's just like, yo, I honestly think that is cheap at this moment, for what we are getting out of these AI bots. But that's just me and how I think about it. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below.
TechCrunch was getting
Am I
behind
crazy?
the leave OpenAI and jump over to Claude. Guess what happened next? Claude jumped to be the #1 most downloaded app in the App Store. Now, prior to this, they'd been like way down. Like they weren't even in like the top 10. They were, I think in the top 100, but they were like way down the list. And like seemingly overnight, they just jumped up and became like the top most downloaded app in the App Store. And during the weekend, like from the Friday that Anthropic got
people really
blacklisted
did
and OpenAI jumped in the same day and said, we'll do a contract with you. Well, between that Friday and Monday, ChatGPT uninstalls surged by 295%. People were like, OpenAI, we don't trust you anymore. We're out. Anthropic's revenue has been surging. Anthropic nears $20 billion revenue run rate amid the Pentagon feud. Anthropic is on track to generate annual revenue of almost $20 billion, more than doubling its run rate from last year. A clash with the Pentagon over AI safeguards has led to the Defense Secretary declaring Anthropic a supply chain risk, which may impact its business, but sales on the consumer side have continued to skyrocket because everybody was jumping ship from OpenAI because they don't really like how this whole situation was handled. OpenAI jumped in at the last second and made a deal with the Pentagon. And then check this out. This is a graph put out by Ramp where we can see the blue here is all OpenAI. The orange is Anthropic. The right side is February. So if we look back into, mid last year, OpenAI was destroying when it came to chat for business. Like Anthropic was just barely a blip. Fast forward to February, and it's flipped. This is now OpenAI's chat for business, and this is all Anthropic here now. So businesses have been ditching OpenAI and moving more and more into Anthropic. And now I don't think this is totally because of the whole Pentagon thing. No. I just think it's because Anthropic has had the dominant coding model with Opus 4.5 and Opus 4.6 recently. The Wall Street Journal put out an article this week about how Sam Altman defended the Pentagon work to staff and calls all the backlash really painful. A lot of OpenAI employees have not been happy with the fact that OpenAI was jumping on the Pentagon deal. And obviously they're all unhappy by the fact that they're losing customers at an insane rate. Like it's dropped 295% over a single weekend or something. Mind-blowing drop off in the amount of people refusing to use OpenAI. Oh, and then according to this article from Bloomberg that came out on March 3rd, Altman tells staff OpenAI has no say over Pentagon decisions. So everybody who is saying OpenAI is telling us outwardly that, hey, we're drawing the same red lines as Anthropic, well, they're telling their staff internally, yeah, it's not really up to us anymore. According to this Bloomberg article, the Defense Department will listen to OpenAI's expertise about the technology applications, but does not want the company to express opinions about whether certain military actions were good or bad ideas. Now, to be fair to OpenAI, Sam Altman is still actively and outwardly publicly pushing for the Defense Department to abandon its designation of Anthropic as a supply chain risk. Even Sam Altman knows that that's not a good idea for them to do. Oh, but this story just keeps on going. On March 4th, The Information put out an article from leaked internal company memos from Anthropic, where Anthropic isn't really being too nice towards the administration. The real reasons the Department of War and the Trump admin do not like us is that we haven't donated to Trump, while OpenAI's Greg Brockman have donated a lot. We haven't given dictator-style praise to Trump, while Sam has. We have supported AI regulation, which is against their agenda. We've told the truth about a number of AI policy issues, like job displacement, and we've actually held our red lines with integrity rather than colluding with them to produce safety theater for the benefit of employees. Now, on March 5th, the day I'm actually recording this, Dario did put out a statement on the Anthropic blog saying that they regret that those notes got out and that those messages were written on the day this was all going down, and it was very heated in the office, and this wasn't a memo that came out later. It was just a memo that sort of came out in the heat of the moment. And according to the Financial Times, Anthropic's chief is now back in talks with the Pentagon about an AI deal. Okay, this is just crazy. But also, on March 5th, the Pentagon...
Was this all theater, bro? Like the way everything goes in this world, bro. Was this all theater? Like, was they just trying to... What were they trying to do?
Officially notified Anthropic that it's deemed the firm a supply chain risk. So although apparently Anthropic is in talks with the Pentagon to try to work things out and make amends with them, the Pentagon officially moved forward to designate the supply chain risk. Jumping back to this Anthropic blog post that Anthropic put out after the designation, Anthropic does say, "We do not believe this action is legally sound and we see no choice but to challenge it in court." Now, I don't know much about the law and all the legalities of this, so I can't really speak into this too much, but my gut tells me the supply chain risk designation will probably not stick, but I don't know. I mean, I've been surprised by a lot of this stuff before. It just doesn't feel like it will stick. I'd say in all likelihood, this is like one giant, crazy, overblown negotiation tactic between the Pentagon and Anthropic, and Anthropic and the Pentagon will eventually make a deal together to be using Anthropic in some way, shape, or form, and that whole supply chain designation thing will sort of fade away.
Just like a toxic ex. You know what I mean? You think you gone? You think you safe? And you just slip up one day. They text you, "Hey boo, how you doing?" Or no, what was it? Was it, "Hey big head, how you been?" Oh, I'm getting in my feels.
That's my guess of how it's going to play out. In this article from Anthropic, they do say, "I would like to reiterate that we had been having productive conversations with the Department of War over the last several days, both about ways we can serve the department that adhere to our two narrow exceptions and ways for us to ensure a smooth transition if not possible." So it does sound like that's confirmation, even though they're designated a supply chain risk, even though they have statements floating around about how they're not willing to bend the knee, they are still working behind the scenes to try to figure this all out. So again, my gut feeling is the supply chain risk designation will likely fade away and Anthropic will figure out some way to work with the government and some sort of compromise will be had. But again, I've been wrong a lot before. So that's my breakdown of what's going on with that story right now. It's a wild one. Okay, so there's been a little bit more news this week that I haven't gotten into yet. And well, this video is already running long because I spent a lot of time on the Anthropic Pentagon thing. So everything else I'm going to tell you in a quick rapid fire.
Rapid fire. That's tough.
We did get even more large language models than what I mentioned already. We have a new open weight model from Alibaba, Qwen 3.5. It comes in 4 flavors, an 800 million parameter model, a 2 billion parameter model, 4 billion, and 9 billion. I actually did a video earlier this week that shows you how you can run this model on your iPhone for free without connecting to the internet. It's good enough and small enough to actually run on a phone without connecting to the internet or any sort of cloud. It's a pretty decent model. Check out that video if you haven't already. XAI made an update to their Grok model this week, Grok 4.20 beta 2, with improvements to instruction following, less hallucinations, better scientific text, image search, trigger precision, and multiple image render reliability. So if you use Grok, you've got those now. Microsoft put out another model this week, their 5.4 Reasoning Vision model. This is a compact and smart open weight multimodal reasoning model that balances reasoning power, efficiency, and training data needs. It's a broadly capable model that allows for natural interaction for a wide array of vision language tasks and excels at math and science, reasoning, and understanding user interfaces. So this is an open weight model, probably one that goes fairly head to head with that Qwen 3.5 that we just looked at, but it's a 15 billion parameter model, so probably still not small enough to run on a phone, but probably small enough that you could run it on a decent GPU. I have another update out of OpenAI. If you're a developer, the Codex app, which has been only available on Mac so far, is now available on Windows. It is a good sort of IDE to use. It's probably one of the simplest IDEs to use. Like if you try to use Visual Studio Code or Cursor or Windsurf or one of those tools and you find it complicated and overwhelming, well, the Codex app is much simpler. You get in and it's just like a ChatGPT kind of interface. It's very, very basic and simple to use. And now you can use it on Windows, but you can only use it with the OpenAI models. Okay, this next one is kind of a crazy story. This comes out of Meta. I have no idea how to pronounce this. Svenska Dagbladet. They did this deep dive research into Meta's glasses. Now, this is a pretty long, in-depth article, but here's the TLDR of it. Basically, they found out that if you don't have your privacy settings set up right on your Meta AI glasses, AI can use the data that's coming into the video for training. Well, that training is all going to a company in Africa where humans are actually reviewing that footage. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of footage that's coming in and getting viewed by humans.
I don't know if he's gonna say this one, but one of them allegedly, one of the things of the footage basically was dude put his glasses down and was giving his old lady back shots. And the person that I guess that written the what's her name was like, yeah, no, me and the entire office, we seen him giving his old lady back shots.
You know, people in the bathroom, people getting changed, people looking at their credit cards where the credit card details are in full view. All of this information that's being recorded by the glasses, if your privacy settings aren't set right, is all going to human annotators who are looking through all of this footage. And as you can imagine, that causes some problems. And well, now there's some more legal battles looming for Meta. A UK data watchdog is writing to Meta following a concerning report claiming outsourced workers were able to view sensitive content filmed by the company's AI smart glasses. In Meta's UK AI terms of service, the company says in some cases, Meta will review your interactions with AIs, and this review may be automated or manual, aka by a human. Now, according to Meta, unless users choose to share media they've captured with Meta or others, that media stays on the user's device. But from my understanding of reading that other article, you have to actually turn off the feature to share it with Meta. Otherwise, it's kind of on by default. That may have changed recently. They may have made it turned off by default now. I'm not 100% sure, but it's still weird and creepy nonetheless. And well, this whole thing got back to even more people, and now Meta's being sued over its AI smart glasses privacy concerns. The news prompted the UK regulator, the Information Commissioner's Office, to investigate the matter. Now the tech giant is facing a lawsuit in the United States as well. In the newly filed complaint, plaintiffs of New Jersey and California allege that Meta violated privacy laws and engaged in false advertising. So they're getting in trouble with the UK, New Jersey, California, and as this story comes out more, I don't think the drama is going to slow down. But I'll keep an eye on it and share updates as these updates unfold. And here's a tech gadget that might be kind of interesting. This company, I think they're called Be Inaudible. I think that's the company name. Introduced a product called Spectre One. And it's the first smart device to stop unwanted audio recordings. So basically you put this device in front of you, you turn it on, and anybody that has any sort of recording device, like I've got this little plod thing here. If this recording device was on around this device, it's gonna jarble up the audio so that this device can't pick it up. And as more and more people have listening devices in their glasses and these little pins and things like that, more and more people are gonna want this kind of technology. But I do have questions. If it's jarbling the audio that it's picking up all around it so it can't be recorded by things, is that going to screw up what our phones hear? Am I not going to be able to like use my AirPods and like talk to somebody? It seems like it might cause a lot of sort of downstream issues with other devices that legitimately do need to be listening. Interesting device, a device that's sort of in an AI world where everything is going to be listening eventually, helps block out the conversations. How much is it going to screw up this stuff that needs to hear those conversations, like me just having a phone call with somebody? Either way, it's going to be interesting to watch how that plays out, but right now it's not very economical. I think they're trying to sell it for like $1,000 or something, which who's going to pay that much for something like this? I don't know, but it's an interesting concept.
It's literally just a jammer.
Nonetheless, we also have NVIDIA's GTC conference coming up from March 16th to 19th. It's actually in San Jose, but they're doing a virtual version of this event where you can actually see Jensen's keynote, where it's expected that he's going to show off a new chip they've been working on. And there's all sorts of sessions with AI experts and robotics experts. And it's going to be a really cool event where you can learn a lot about what's going on in the world of AI right now. NVIDIA also gave me one of these GTX Spark like supercomputer kind of things. I want it. They gave me a second one and said, hey, why don't you give this second one away? So I actually have another one of these GTX Sparks. It's right here, still in the box, and I want to send it to somebody. Now, in order to win this DGX Spark, all you have to do is register and attend one of the sessions at GTC. This is a deal I made with NVIDIA. They said, hey, shout out GTC for me. Tell people to register and attend one of the events, and you can pick one of the people that registers at random and send them this DGX Spark. So that's exactly what I'm doing. So all you got to do is go to the GTC website, register for the virtual event, or attend in person if you want. Either way, it doesn't matter, but register either way. After the event's over, I'm going to pick one person at random that registered and attended one of the sessions and send them that DGX Spark. You can get all the details you need at this LinkedIn post that I made. You've got the link to where you can register, and I will link that up in the description
That's
below
tough.
so you can go and register and be entered to win one of these DGX Sparks. Thank you to NVIDIA for doing that. Pretty cool giveaway. I'll be up in San Jose in person for the
All right, y'all. I'm not gonna waste no more of y'all time, man. Love each and every last one of y'all, man. Let me know in the comments down below if anything in this video had actually made sense to you, because I can understand how it will go over some people's heads. Let me know if you think that literally I'm crazy for owning or for basically having all three of those subscriptions, the OpenAI, the Anthropic, and the Google's Gemini. I mean, to some people it's crazy. To me, I call it cost efficient for a lot of the stuff that I'm doing. But that's just me. Let me know if you would do that in the comments down below. Love each and every last one of y'all, man. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and also hit that super hype. It helps me out in the algorithm. Love each and every last one of y'all. Shout out to the people that's been following and rocking with your boy. I love each and every last one of y'all, man. Let's continue to do this, and let's actually make a goal to 1,000 subscribers by, let's just say, the end of the year. Let's make that a goal. All right. Peace.